Hey everybody, welcome back to Sousa Man Entertainment, your one stop for all things entertainment. And yeah, we got a good one. We talking about, yes, The Bear. A show that I have fallen in love with these past couple of years. And I have decided that I am going to just smush it all together and talk about seasons 1 and 2. Why? Because I think it's one of the best shows on TV. Absolutely. So let's get into it. The Bear. So, Jeremy Allen White, former Philip Gallagher and Shameless, he's moved his ass to Chicago again. Yay! No, but this time he plays Carmen Berzado. And he is a superstar chef, up and coming, working at the best restaurant in the world in New York City. But his brother, played by John Berthenol, Michael, dies, and he has to take over his dirty sandwich shop. So it's basically a riches to rags story. And while he's working there, he has to deal with all the employees that have been working there for forever and all their zaniness. And let me just tell you what, first off, this show is kinetic. This show just pops. It's just boom, boom, boom. But the quiet parts are really good. It's like a very good balancing act. I love it because also the show just gets it right. It is so accurate with its lingo and its nomenclature about working in a restaurant. It's very intimate. Definitely, they've done their work or had experience doing this. And the thing that's going to really hook you with this show is the characters the characters are just so authentic and so believable. Watching this show is like being a fly in a wall at your local sandwich shop. It is just that good. Now, season 1 is more of a, Carmen, the main character, coming to terms with his brother, and working in this restaurant is kind of therapy. Now, he meets up with his sister, Sugar, and she, they're not at the best place. She never gets to talk to him. That really upsets her. Since he's been there, he's just been kind of stuck in the beef, as it's called, the sandwich shop, and really hasn't talked much to the family. And he basically takes her advice and goes to essentially a support group to deal with the losing someone and having not deal with it emotionally wise. And that's really, that's very adult and not what you would see in a lot of shows. I mean, this show is very, mature in its, look. And this is a very much a drama. I mean, it does have some comedy, but this is about, this is real. I mean, it feels real in its mannerisms. That's what I really liked. And of course, the first season, like, it's like every day, every episode, something goes wrong. I mean, something goes wrong. I mean, you name it. Oh no, they ran out of this, or oh no, now the power went out, or now, it's just, and they have to adapt on the fly. And Carmen, he's so used to just a professional setting and, everything in its right place and not so lackadaisy, everything is very professional. And he comes to this place and it is just a mess. I mean, it hasn't been kept up, and it's just wild to watch him kind of trying to force his way to get everybody in a line. And the cast of characters: Tina, cousin Richie, Marcus, and the new girl Sydney. And you got Fack, which I love. Fack, he is definitely one of the lovable characters. And you also have we got cousin Richie, Tina, Marcus, the new girl Sydney, who is a very green chef who heard that Carmen's working there, and obviously he's kind of a celebrity-ish chef, and she wants to work for him at this dirty sandwich shop. And how can we forget Uncle Jimmy? Uncle Jimmy, played by Oliver Platt, brilliantly by Oliver Platt. He is easily the best actor on here, definitely the best resume, and he's so good. And yeah, I mean, cousin Richie is just a friend of the family. He plays like he's an asshole. He's very abrasive, and he is just makes things so difficult. But he does have kind of a redemption arc, and season 1 is essentially trying to get this place into line, but it keeps falling apart at the seams, and then there's kind of a revelation at the last episode, and what we find out is essentially, it's called the Bear because Carmen wants to turn. He had a deal with his brother Michael to make a restaurant together, but things didn't happen that way, and it's going to be called the Bear, and that's where we're going to transition to season 2. And season 2, where really things take off. This is like some great writing. This is essentially Carmen now has the resources to turn the old restaurant into the restaurant of his dreams. And he's going to send all these characters off like it's a video game or something. Like, boom, Tina, you go become a professional, chef. Marcus, boom, you become a professional, culinary chef. Richie, you try to become a professional. And it is such a great episode of his. Really good redemption arc, kind of turns the character around a lot. And of course, Sydney, go out and try food around the town, and like, let's get some ideas. Just our palate is effed, as he would say. So go out there and do it. And I love that. Like, the restaurant's gonna open in so long, and then there's so many problems opening the restaurant. They got to get it's so realistic. It's like, okay, we got to get the money to deal with the fire department's thing, and then there's mold, and then we got a wall came down that we got to put up, and we can't put up the electricity or the drywall without the pipe, the plumbing, and the plumbing before the electricity, and the electricity before, and then you got to get the gas check. I mean, it's all this like stuff that you wouldn't think about. And it really, like, what is it like to really open up a restaurant? Brand new, This show really gives you a very almost scarily accurate way of looking at it. Now, I would say the downturn on this season is there's a new character that's like a love interest from Carmen's past called Claire Bear. I didn't think she was terrible, but it did kind of seem forced a little bit into it. But I didn't think she was terrible, but at the end it kind of felt a little forced. But one of the big highlights of this episode is an episode that kind of comes sort of in the middle, and it has nothing to do with what's going on currently. Hey, it's a flashbacks episode, but it gives you a real look at what Carmen's family is like, and it's chaotic, and it has some awesome cameos. Awesome. Like, people were talking about, like, what? They're in this episode? Wait, they're also in this episode? So this is one to look out for. And it just all comes together. That episode, it's like an hour long, usually they're 30-minute episodes, but this big episode is really a look at Michael. It does have a look at everyone else, but that Michael kind of gets into his psyche, and in this, it just felt like you were there. It's wild. It was so wildly good, and it just all leads up to this opening night, with friends and family, and it's just so chaotic, and so many kind of little twists and turns, and things just explode, and then there's some hilarious moments, and of course Uncle Jimmy, can't forget Uncle Jimmy, just putting the pressure on Carmen, because the profit margins are so low at these big scale restaurants that he's kind of put the pressure because he's paying for everything, and it all comes ahead, and it's very satisfying, and it's just wildly kinetic, and the characters you really I mean, if you like season 1, you really start to love them in season 2. It's not so much about Carmen in season 2 as the bigger picture. You know, I think they gave him the girlfriend to kind of give him something to do other than just the pressure of kind of opening this restaurant. All the other characters really get explored. Even Sydney, a little bit more with her and her father. She's not the strongest character, but I like her kind of wide-eyed innocence. But she kind of thinks. I mean, she's innocent to a fact, but she kind of, you know, is smart in the way that, you know, hey, this would actually, in the first season she's like, well, if we did this and this would save us money in this way, and she's like, hey, you're right, but like, it's too crazy. It's like trying to polish a turd. It's a spinning turd too, because it's like, and then she kind of get on her, she also kind of under like, hey, we're not at an upscale restaurant, this is some crap. And now she has some doubts and whatnot, and then there's just some side characters, some that I pray we see in season 3, and I hope we get to see what really happened with Michael. I would love to see what happened leading to his death, and I hope we see, you know, what's going to happen. Where they go from season 3, I don't know. Maybe we'll get, you know, the very next day, or maybe it kind of goes scales a few months down the line. The restaurant's kind of popping. You know, it could go a bunch of different ways, but what will keep you hooked and keep me hooked is these characters that I love, and I think you're going to love too. This is automatic. This is a Cinetastic. This is one of the best shows on TV, no doubt. I think it's my Super Thumb recommendations. 2 Super Thumb recommendations. Nothing against Siskel and Ebert. I'm just saying it's Super Thumb recommendations to, you know, give their trademark, not to hit that, but I love Siskel and Ebert, so this is a must watch. Go check it out, and if you like this, stick around for more Susan Man Entertainment.